yeah! This, that, and the other. This, that, and the other. This, that, and the other. So much for us to cover. This, that, and the other. Oh yeah, let's go. Giddy up. Howdy everybody, I'm Danny C. Fletcher. This is That and the Other show about people, places, and things. And this person right here, I'm really excited about. Man, I tell you, we're not good friends. We met a couple of years ago. And Glen Castleberry. Glen, nice to see you. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you for inviting me.
You know what? I a couple of years ago when I first met you, I heard what a great musician, songwriter, singer you were. And the first time I'd ever met you, and someone said,
must have been a family member or something.
Well, I don't know, but they're sure bragging on you, and rightfully so.
Thank you.
Rightfully so. We got a great story. You got a great story to tell, so I'd like to share it on my show here.
Lots of stories I have to tell.
Oh, I know you do. I just the few times I've been with you around you here lately, it's great. But let's start at the beginning. Born and raised where?
Artesia, New Mexico.
Right down the road in Artesia.
Little bulldog.
I got my rock and roll bulldogs on the wall up here.
Right.
So born in Artesia. Did you go to school in Artesia?
No, I went to school in Carlsbad High School.
Carlsbad High School. All right. So when did you take an interest in singing and songwriting and performing?
I was 8 or 9 or 10, somewhere
Really?
around there.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, how'd that come about?
Well, an older friend, an old brother of a friend had a guitar, and I was more interested in the guitar than the baseball at the time. Loved baseball too, but the guitar was, and then they let me take it home and keep it around, so I started playing it.
Did you teach yourself to play? Did you take some lessons?
Well, I bought books, how to make the chords, the chord charts.
You must have really liked it, because I've tried that too, and I'm still not worth a crap.
Well, you mostly learn by just watching other people play who are much better than you. You know, I had some help, people that were farther along than me. You know, older friends that were already playing. And everybody helped everybody. You know, if you could make some chords, you know, somebody could show you how to make them easier.
So you learn from each other too.
That's right.
In high school, did you have a band?
Yes, I did. I was in several bands, actually.
Really? So any highlights while you were in high school? Anything you guys did, played, won, open for?
Well, I was in Dudley and the Do-Rights in Carlsbad. We were pretty much did lots of casuals.
So
there were some other bands too a band called the Detonators, we were mainly you know, a lot of Ventures, early Chuck Berry stuff.
right. So you would play high school dances and
Yes.
events and stuff like that?
We'd do public dances.
Yeah.
We'd play private parties. We played for a lot of things in the area. Of course, this was when I was 15, 16, 17. Dudley and the Do-Rights were some other Carlsbad fellas that were on there. We had Scott Maxwell on bass, Charlie White drums, Joe Smith keyboards, and a dear friend of mine, Glen was another guitar player. And if I mentioned Scott Maxwell on bass, I think. But we played public dances, and we charged $1.50 to get in at the time, and we were doing really well. And the band was we had a savings account in our name, and we saved up enough money, and we ran into a new lawyer in town, Dick Blendon, had just gotten out of law school, and he took an interest in us and was our manager for a year or two, and we saved our money and we bought 1,000 records and went to Norman Petty's studio in Clovis, New Mexico. Yeah. And we had a song that Glenn Giddings had written called "I Want to Be Your Loving Man." So I think we paid $200 for 1,000 copies, and we were booked up pretty solid. Dick, Mr. Glenn, kept us booked up. We played the Cavern Theater. We did a concert at the Cavern Theater live, and back when they were still having movies there. This was in probably 66, 67, 68. We played in the big room at the Caverns. He got us a job down there playing for I don't remember the function, but we did some underground music.
How was the acoustics in the big room down at Carlsbad Caverns? That's what we're talking about.
It was really good. I really didn't hear very much like right here. This is a great sound studio right here.
Well, thank you. But that'd be exciting. So, did you keep all the money from the door?
Yes, we did. But we bought the 1,000 records, and if you remember, the two big shopping centers were being built at the time. Northgate Shopping Center in Carlsbad, and then Abo Shopping Center came a few months later. And we were invited to do the play on a flatbed trailer and try to draw a crowd. But so our records came in, they came boxed up, and believe it or not, we sold every record. I kept the 1,000th record and still have that today in its sleeve. So we asked Mr. Glen, and I said, well, let's sell 1,000 more. Well, we never did. We only sold 1,000 before, I guess, he moved on to greener waters. You know.
Right. So when did you get somewhere in your life you moved to LA, I guess? When was that?
I moved there in 1971.
71. Were you already graduated from high school by then?
Yes, I'd been out, 3 or 4 years, and I ran into the Hawkers movie was being shot here, and the mayor at the time was Walter Gerald's, and it was friends, and they the producers Levy and Gardner, the producers, said they needed someone to work with the property master to help them out with locations, and who was a little bit electronically inclined, knew how to work with wires, and my name came up, and so I went for an interview, and I worked 3 months on the Hawkers on the set.
Now, just for all the younger people,
yeah.
This was a rodeo cowboy starring James Coburn.
Yes.
Slim Pickens was in the movie. I don't remember who else.
Larry Mahan.
Oh, that's right, Larry.
Lois Nettleton, the fine actress, and Annie Archer, and that was the main.
I think y'all can still find it on Netflix or somewhere. Just so it's called The Honkers.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It didn't do too well, as well as they. But working every day, I was getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning and being on their bus, going to different locations all over the county, actually, and setting up and learning. It was a very learning experience, and I got to be friends with the property master, Tom Fairbanks, who at the time, of course, everyone lived in Los Angeles, and got invited to their little get-togethers after work at the Ramada Inn, which they tore down, last year.
That's right.
Ramada Inn. That's where they stayed. But I sat around the pool for hours playing some things that I had written already, and they said, "Glenn, you need to go to LA." But I had already had LA in my radar before the Hawkers came along, because I went to college 2 years.
It was just another affirmation that you should go.
Right. Well, I wound up renting from my property master, who had a nice little rental house there with a part of his house. He rented to me out there.
In LA?
Yeah, that was the first person. I looked up all my friends when I went out and touched bases with them. Lois Nettleton's husband was Lawrence Merritt, and who was had a huge acting school. So on the way out there, the earthquake happened, which I didn't know. I spent a couple of days on my way to LA and spent the night in my little cab over pickup truck. Had no radio, but the earthquake happened. So I piddled around and got out there, and I went straight to the studio 2 days later. And I had still, when I got to Blythe, I noticed at least 100,000 cars coming out of California into Arizona, and nobody going in. Not too many, that is, but so I didn't think much about it. I thought, well, these people,
that's strange.
They must be moving out of there. I thought, well, okay. But when I got to the acting school, they said, "You don't know about the earthquake?" No, because when I got there, I went right off the freeway down Vine Street to the acting school and walked in. There's Lois Nettleton and her husband, and so that was my first people. That was the first thing I did when I got to California. And they said, "Oh, we have a guy that needs a guitar player." His name was Russell Lee, and he was the drummer for the Checkmates at the time. The Checkmates were a show band. So I immediately joined a little band right then, and they took me down and got us fitted for these outfits that we were going to wear, and we rehearsed with this band for about 2 months, and we rehearsed and we did one show, but then the band kind of went their own way after that. But it was a paid thing. They'd pay us for rehearsal, and got our show going, and we just did one show for a casual.
Wow.
And so that was my first band. But then I was meeting lots of great musicians from all during the time I was there. I was there for 18 years. So.
Wow, 18 years. So you played that one gig with this band. What happened next?
I started hanging around the places where people go and congregate. I ran into a guy by the name of Bill Graham, who played bass for Glen Campbel at the Palomino Club in North Hollywood, out in the San Fernando Valley. And we became friends, and just one, in a very short time, we were hanging out together, meeting. I was not saying too much,
And all this time you're writing songs too, right?
Yes, started writing some with Bill kind of immediately. It was kind of immediate collaboration thing when we started writing songs. We probably wrote, 25 songs, maybe.
Really?
Finished songs. So it was he was the bass player for Glen Campbell. He did a lot for me, and he did a lot. Well, Glen Campbell did more for the younger generation than probably anybody in the business. Recording writers' songs, recording musicians. Giving them an opportunity. A lot of young musicians went with Glen and played. Actually joined his band. Lots of players. Craig T-Fall and Ethan Riley. A lot of younger musicians that were deserving of being there.
I want to get back to Glen Campbell because a lot of people don't know that you're on the B side of one of his biggest songs. We're going to talk about that in a minute, but before that, you won a contest on the country radio station out there. Tell me about that.
Well, actually, that took place, the first annual KLEC talent show. I sent in one of my cassettes and was invited to the Magic Mountain. They had 15 finalists, and I was invited. They had 540 contestants that entered the talent show.
Wow.
So they listened to all the cassettes, and I was invited to the Magic Mountain show where they were going. Everybody got to do 3 songs, and then they dwindled it down to 10, and then they did a few more songs, and then I was lucky enough to win that. That was my.
But you won a recording contract, right?
Pardon me?
You won a recording contract?
Well, a recording contract. It was a one record deal with Ray Ruff and Oak Records.
Wow.
And it was a good recording. It never did anything. It got released regionally, but
Now, how old were you when that happened?
I was probably 28 years old, because the KLEC contest was after I had my first songs recorded in 1973 and 74 when Glen recorded for four songs.
So the Glen thing happened way before that.
That happened first.
Okay.
But I wound up having a band called Stone Country, who was Curtis Stone and myself, and John Hobbs was a keyboard player who's was with George Strait for years, still is with George. Curtis Stone played with, he was the bass player for Highway 101. And Jack Daniels, guitar player, played lots of jobs with a lot of people in LA. Just whenever I had a job, I would call the hot guitar players. But Stone Country, and then we had Stan House on drums. That was the Stone Country band. And his father was Cliffy Stone, who had Hometown Jamboree, and he was manager of Tennessee Ernie Ford, Tex Williams, Molly B, Billy Armstrong, and other artists. And so we actually played a lot of county fairs. This was in 72, 73, because I had met Cliffy Stone at Central Songs. The first week I was in LA, I went and knocked on Central Songs, and it was Cliffy Stone. And I went in and I had a guitar, and I played 2 or 3 songs for Cliffy, and one was a song called A Folk Rock Pop Middle of the Road Country Singer that Jim Aho of Carlsbad, the chiropractor, and I had written. And he liked that song because Cliffy's had 2 sons. One son was Steve Stone, who worked at Capitol Records, and he was an A&R guy at Capitol Records. And so Cliffy was a mentor to so many people, because he was, Central Songs had many gold records hanging on their wall. So they took me in and did some demos, and I did a demo of that A Folk Rock Pop Middle of the Road Country Singer. And it wound up being on Capitol with Kenny Munns and with a group called Brush Arbor. And they were produced by Steve Stone. He was the producer. So that was my first recording, a major release. But Steve and Curtis were longtime friends. Still, I talk to Curtis every once in a while, and friends with him on Facebook. He's lives in Nashville now, and doing quite well. Of course, Highway 101 is what a group that
that was great.
That was a great group.
I forget their lead female singer. What was her name?
I believe Nicolette or.
God, I can't remember, Glenn. But she could sing.
Right, but they've got a replacement that's just as awesome.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Really. Hmm.
So
let's talk about your hit with Glenn Campbell. I mean, I know it was on the B side, but that on the A side was what song?
Well, it was Rhinestone Cowboy.
Rhinestone Cowboy.
Bill Graham and I wrote that in 30 minutes. It just, when sometimes songs happen so fast, they just roll, and sometimes you have to carry them around with you and live with them. They have to mature. But so we went over and played it to Glen, and we took my guitar, and it's a simple song. I know a lot of people have heard it, and it wound up being recorded. Well, before we get into the covers, but Glen put it on an album first. That was 1974, Houston, I'm Coming to See You album, in case you want to give it a listen. Little did I know it was going to wind up collectively selling 4 million records in 1975 because Glen had publishing on it. And he took it off. He used the same recording on the backside of, it was a Jimmy Webb song. He took it off the backside and just put it on, he took it off the album, put it on the backside of Rhinestone Cowboy, because he didn't have to go in and record and pay another recording fee with musicians and everything. And Glen liked that song because of the message. And
the title of the song, I don't think we told
it was
her.
called Lovelight.
I watched it on YouTube the other day. They had a
Cleve Francis. Did you
Cleve
watch Cleve
Francis. I watched. Well,
it was 20 years later. Cleve Francis covered the song, and that's where he heard the song.
and it's a great video that he made with that song.
Yes, it was.
But they on YouTube they have just a picture of Glen, and they have the song too.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
But,
Glen did most. Cleve did a much more elaborate recording of it, but
and a great video too.
Yeah, Cleve. I stay in touch with Cleve Francis today. He's a marvelous human being. He's a cardiologist. He's a spokesperson for the American Heart Association, and he's a beautiful man.
Where's he living?
He lives in Alexandria, Virginia.
Okay, right there by Washington, D.C.
Right.
Yeah. Hmm.
But Freddie Weller was the first man of
Freddie Weller?
He was the bass player for Paul Revere and the Raiders.
Yeah.
He did a solo. He was on Columbia Records. He did the Lovelight, and it's on his album. If you care to go listen to it on iTunes, Freddie Weller. Gary Stewart came to the studio in 1978 because I had done my own version of Lovelight, a slower halftime Waylon Jennings type song feel. Waylon Jennings, we call it Waylon feel because of that halftime. And Gary Stewart came to the studio one day and was listening to some demos that I was producing with my band, but I never got signed on a label, for an album deal or anything. But I was doing well, getting covers, songwriting. But
now, were you working for a publishing company at the time,
no,
or just on your own?
No, Glen took publishing on a few of the songs, the Lovelight, Have a Good Time.
Wow. Now, you also played with some other pretty big names too, or done some things.
Well, other than the hometown jamboree, Cliffy Stone, we backed up Tex Williams. We did a lot of the Chaparral Brothers, Molly B. We did lots of county fairs, state fairs in California, and played a lot in the state of California.
Did you do something with Willie Nelson?
Yes. Billy and I, Bill Graham I'm talking about, we took 10,000 each and put a recording studio and a swimming pool in front of his house. And he had a sound engineer that took me under his wing and showed me how to work the board, because he was already a seasoned sound man. His name was Terry. Bill House was another one who was an RCA artist. But we were producing demos. I was, and so Bill and I went into business. I was the engineer, and he was touring a lot with Glen at the time. So I was running the recording studio, and we booked artists. One artist came in by the name of Lacey J. Dalton, who was on Billy Sherrill produced her on Columbia. She came in, and I know her as Jill Croston. That's her birth name. But she came in and blew us away. And David Wood, who was everybody's lawyer at the time, and we produced 7 or 8 demos on her, and they wound up listening. Billy Sherrill listened to the demos I produced on her, and using Los Angeles players, people like J.D. Manis and Billy Joe Walker, John Hobbs, Charlie Cruz, the LA elite group.
You're right.
So she got signed to Columbia, and so one of Bill's best friends from the great state of Texas was Don Bowman, who lived in Los Angeles, but he had been a disc jockey in Austin, spinning records, but he was a songwriter, and he had written some songs that had gotten recorded by Waylon and Willie. One was Just to Satisfy You, which was a pretty good big hit for Waylon and Willie. And so Willie, the Stardust album came out in, I think, 78 or something like that, 77, 78. So Willie had 4 or 5 or 6 artists, had Ry Cooder, Jerry Jeff Walker, a few others. Sorry if I didn't remember them all, but there was some really good artists, and Don was one of them. And so he had a deal with, so he came to the studio because he lived in LA, came over and said, hey, Willie's producing an album on me. So he had all these novelty songs that he had played, and he needed a guitar player and a bass player and a drummer to record. But before I tell you how I finally went with having a chance of going on tour with Willie, we did the album, but Don wrote the Wildwood Weed song, which was a big hit for Jim Stafford. Yeah. I think it went to #2 in the Billboard charts.
Jim had a couple of quirky little songs like that, Spiders and Snakes and some other ones. Yeah. Well, Wildwood Weed, that was a big one.
Don, and then he wrote a song called Hello DJ. It was about Ralph Emery. I sent you 500 copies and I haven't heard it played yet. But he did a parody on that. But anyway, we did the 10 songs, and with the elite Billy Joe Walker, John Hobbs, and a few other guitar players, including myself. Simple songs, but Don was a comedian. He was a Roger Miller mold type comedian that was impromptu. He was Don Rickles all over. He was just funny. I mean, he was a great entertainer, and he knew how to handle big crowds. And but when he got through with the album, after overdubbing the guitars and engineering his album, which I got credited for engineering the album and mixing it, but it came out, and it was called Still Fighting Mental Health. And if you want to be thoroughly entertained, you would go on iTunes and look up Don Bowman, Still Fighting Mental Health, and take a few listens to the album. So after the album was done, he brings Willie and his band. They were in town. They came out, and we had a rap party. And when we got through, he asked Bill Graham and I if we wanted to go on tour with him to do the Stardust tour. And at the time, I had some engagements, so I put those on hold. And so Bill and I went as a guitar, and Bill at the time was had lots of time with Glen Campbell off. He eventually left Glen a year or two later, but we went on tour with Don, and then we did the 2.5 years with Don as the opening act. So we would walk out and do about 20 minutes, and the sound men they'd get the sound right, and then we'd do our songs, and then we'd walk off, and then we'd just hang out backstage and on the bus and just kind of have fun.
How long did you do that?
We did that for like 2.5 years.
Really? Wow. Anybody else you go on tour with?
No, those were really the 2 major acts that other than myself, locally there, we did some nice things regionally there in Southern California.
And you were there for 18 years?
Yeah.
18 years in LA.
And I played Knott's Berry Farm, Disneyland, Private Casuals, Palomino Club, Universal Studios, Juan Poppers. The club, everyone plays the club, LA, the club circuit, as they call.
You played, how many of those were on the strip there? What do they call it? The Sunset Strip?
Oh, well, we played the Troubadour a couple of times with my group, but it also played there with some other bigger name acts. I just played as a guitar player, some other acts too. Troubadour it was pretty happening place then.
Yeah, I've been in that club, so it's still going.
I also played a new club there in about 82 or 83 called the Lone Star Saloon. It was on the corner of Sunset Strip and Highway 1. It was open for 2 or 3 years, but we opened it up there and played the opening weekend. That was my original group with Stan Behrens, Billy Darnell, Eddie Chidori, and Randy Ehrlich, and Bill Graham sometimes when we could have him on fiddle.
And Darnell, he did some stuff out there too. He did a lot of stuff.
Billy Darnell?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
I mean, there's some big names you're talking about out there during the time.
Yeah, it's you just keep that book of guitar players there
and Glenn, you didn't waste any time when you went out to LA. You got right involved. You used your contacts from the Hawkers and you got after it.
Yeah, I had a plan. Especially in the beginning, I had a plan. So from then on, it just I'm grateful for all the help I received. That's what everyone needs. If you're looking, you need to hang out with the right people and say the right things, and shut up a whole lot.
Listen a lot.
Listen a lot. That's right.
And you must have learned a lot from all these great players, pickers, and singers.
Well, it's been a wonderful ride. I made my life with music.
So after 18 years, did you come back to Carlsbad?
I did. Came back and took care of my father and hung out with my mother quite a bit and played in Rio del Sol a lot. Played with a lot of local talent. But New Mexico's got local talent too. And in fact, a lot of name artists live in John Hobbs eventually, the George Strait's arranger and conductor, lives in Taos today. So a lot of people live in New Mexico.
Yeah, Mentor Williams.
Michael Martin Murphy.
Yeah.
He's a good friend of ours.
Mentor Williams, he's passed on here a few years ago. He wrote Dobie Gray's Drift Away.
Mentor. I knew Mentor.
Yeah. Well, him and Lynn Anderson lived up in Taos too for a while.
I knew Mentor.
Yeah.
I did. Yeah, I sure did.
I got to interview him back in 2010.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
wonderful.
Yeah, it was in Nashville, a big radio convention that was in Nashville, and all the stars, everybody come around try to get the program directors to play their songs on the radio, and I'd met Lynn Anderson. Him and Lynn weren't ever married, officially married, but they were together for 30 some years, and I saw her the night before, and I interviewed her. And she gave me a big old hug and kiss, and I caught Mentor down in the hotel lobby, and we were just running, gunning. We had a camera crew, and I had a mic, and I'd stop you and I'd interview you. So I didn't even know who Mentor Williams was at the time, and I sat down and I said,
brother was Paul Williams.
Yeah, Paul Williams, quite talented. Then the other brother was an astronaut. All three of them were very talented in whatever industries they were in. Right. But he had heard that I'd been kissing on Lynn. He says, "I hear you're kissing on my wife." I said, "No, I just gave her a hug." And that was a great interview. It really was. So you came back to Carlsbad, but you kept writing songs, right?
Oh yeah. I've got.
You're still writing songs today.
The other songs Glenn recorded after Lovelight, the very next single, I have the B-side to that also.
Really?
My co-writer Bill Graham and I wrote Record Collector's Dream. And that was not too country, but he had Lambert and Potter produced them. But I had this song that I had started months before called "I'm a Record Collector's Dream," and we finished that song, and so we went and showed it to Glen, because I wrote it because Elvis Presley was still living at the time. I wrote it with I'm a Record Collector's Dream, talking about the artist being the record, and I played it to Glen, and he recorded it very soon, and he liked it, and so that was on the backside of Country Boy, You Got Your Feet in L.A.
Wow.
So
you were on a couple of pretty good singles, weren't you? 45s back then, right?
So might as well tell you the other two that were on the If I Were Loving You, which was on the backside of a David Pate song, Houston, I'm Coming to See You. That was in 1974. Houston, I'm coming to see you. And so anyway, that was.
So you had how many? 4 songs that Glen?
Glen recorded 4.
4.
Right.
Wow. Any other big artists that do any of your songs? I haven't had any of them do any of mine.
Gary Stewart recorded Lovelight, and another song that I had recorded with my band called East Virginia Blues. But they were demos that I was singing with my group that I was trying to get a record deal at the time. This was in the late 70s. But Gary Stewart came out to the house, and he heard these demos that I was recording, and he said, "Hey, you mind if I put a vocal on that?" And I said, "Sure." So I set up a mic and took my vocal off, because Gary was the one with the golden tenor voice, power blues voice. And so I played him the 4 demos that I was doing. One of them was Lovelight, and one of them was East Virginia Blues. And he wanted to sing Lovelight also, so recorded Lovelight, put a vocal, and so Gary took him back to Florida, played him to his producer Roy Day and his band, and they decided not to put him on the album. Roy called Bill Graham, and I didn't know he had called. Bill was making talking to him. They wanted to release the East Virginia Blues, and they offered us some money to cover the musicians, and Bill said, no, that wasn't enough at the time to pay the musicians that had already recorded my demo, because I was paying my guys to record whenever they recorded with me, because I was using them on live engagements, job like the '84 Olympics and stuff like that. But so anyway, so
you played the '84 Olympics,
right? But
wow.
But before we move on, Gary, I made, back then cassettes were the only way. So Gary, I made Gary 15 copies of cassettes to take back to Florida. So he took back and took it to Roy Day and played his band, and Roy Day had called Bill. So I got a little bit mad at Bill. I said, you made a bad decision by not asking me along with about that, because they were going to release it as a single. Well, it never got released, but Bill and I own the master, because I paid my band and Bill donated the studio time, because Bill and I split 50-50 in our charged $50 an hour, studio time. And so so I kept the 2-inch master tape for ever since, like it's been like 40 years. So in 2021, I took the master to Nashville, had the tape baked, and remixed the Gary Stewart stuff, and So I've got my own album that's going to be coming out pretty soon.
So you started working on that in 2021?
Yeah. So some of the songs, my album will be coming out. I don't know, have an exact date. I'm trying to coordinate it from, find out the best time to release it.
Right.
And Gary's Lovelight version and East Virginia Blues will be on the album, along with my newer stuff. So.
Do you have a name for the album already?
I think it's going to be "I'm an Airplane."
That's one of the songs too.
That's one of the songs on there.
I got to hear it here a little while ago, and it's an awesome song. In fact, you got your guitar over here. Why don't I move? We do a little shifting right now, and
Okay.
you get set up and do a couple of your songs for us, okay? And I'm gonna get out of the way.
All right,
And you can move. You got your special stew there, and your.
Come on, wrinkles, stretch across my face. Don't let those lines make you hesitate. I find so much beauty just holding your hand. Loving you has made me a satisfied man. I'm a satisfied man. I've got all I need. I've got you in the morning that makes the sun shine in me. Well, I find so much beauty just holding your hand. Loving you has made me a satisfied man. So come on, gray hair, won't you live on my brow? I like to live in the future like I'm standing here now. This world will never change me, only you can. Come be a friend of a satisfied man. Oh, I'm a satisfied man. I've got all I need. I got you in the morning that lets the sun shine in me. This finds so much beauty just holding your hand. Come be a friend to a satisfied man. I'm a satisfied man. I've got all I need. I got you in the morning, the sunshine in me. Well, I find so much beauty just holding your hand. Loving you has made me a satisfied man. Loving you has made me a satisfied man.
Awesome. Okay.
I'm an airplane. I think I'll fly me on back to LA. I'm a sunshine shining down on your life. I'm a fine wine. And that takes a long, long time. I'm a flower who could only bloom in your vase. I'm a river flowing at my own pace. I'm an ocean looking for a new wave. Now I know what makes love grow. This feeling inside me won't ever let you go. Ooh, but now I know what makes love grow. This feeling inside me won't ever let you go. I'm an airplane. Oh, I'm an airplane. Yeah. I'm an airplane. I think I'll fly me on back to LA. I'm a sunshine shining down on your life. I'm a fine wine. And that takes a long, long time. I'm a flower who could only bloom in your vase. I'm a river, I'm flowing at my own pace. I'm an ocean, I'm looking for a new wave. I'm an airplane, yeah. I'm an airplane. I'm an airplane.
Awesome. All right. Hey, thank you. Thank you very much. Those are
Thank you
now
so
both
much.
those songs will be on your album, right?
Yes, sir.
And the album's going to be called Airplane.
I'm an airplane.
I'm an airplane. Wow. Wow. What brought that song
I
about?
don't know. I
I
don't
mean-
know. Probably just writing songs comes from many different places with each and every songwriter, I'm sure. Mine, it came from playing guitar and coming up with chord progressions that brought on a feel, and then trying to say something write a song that hasn't been said like that before. You know?
Right. Now, you were telling me that
Jimmy Red.
well back when you first wrote this song a few years back, the crowd would do this airplane
Yeah.
motion, wouldn't they? They're like
Yeah,
that song.
It's a better live performance song, you know, with everyone. You know, it's I got a little bit tired. It's a little bit early in the morning right now. You know, I'm singing a little bit tight today, but
That's okay. You're great. Now, I'm a satisfied man. Was there
wow.
what brought that title to you? What brought that song to you?
Oh, I really can't tell you. I know it was a song that came very quickly. Record Collector's Dream came very, very quickly. I actually woke up out of a dream, and I could probably pick up the guitar and show you how.
Well, go ahead, grab it there.
I'm a record collector's dream came.
A record collector's dream. What a song title.
I won't take it long. I'm a 3-minute song. Won't you come and take a listen to me? I may not hit the top of the old pop chart, 'cause I'm easy listening. My master voice don't give me a choice. You get the middle and the in between. So put the needle in the groove and I'll make you wanna move. Won't you come and spin some music out of me? I'm a record collector's dream. 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 Dream, dream, yeah. I may be plastic, but I'm stronger than steel, and there's power in my music. If you don't think I groove and high fidelity, it's because I've got a hole in the middle of me. Oh, I'm a record collector's dream. 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 Dream, dream, yeah. Why shoot for the moon when I'll be your star? Pick me up and take me home. I'll make you wanna dance and feel so free. Honey, you won't ever wanna reject me, 'cause I'm a record collector's dream. 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 Dream, dream, yeah. Anyway.
What a, and you
I
came out of a dream.
I don't sing it in E. Glen does it in E, but I do it. I have to retune the guitar to do it in my key.
And that's one of
I'm
the
not
ones.
making excuses. Just
And that's one of the ones
You get the
Glen
picture.
Campbell sang.
yes.
Yeah. What a great song. What a great song, Glen. So you have no idea when your album's gonna come out?
Well, no. Soon.
Well,
I plan on doing some. There's some DJs, Lubbock and Albuquerque and Roswell. They're going to be the first. I'm going to take it by and do a little promotion whenever it does come out, when it's available on iTunes.
sure.
And the album sounds much better than me on.
And it was all recorded in Nashville, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
Yeah.
Besides yourself, you have some good pickers on that thing, huh?
Yes, sir.
Wow.
Yes, sir.
Can't wait to hear it, Glen. Can't wait to hear it. Let's wrap things up here. Am I missing anything about your life? Is there a story that you'd like to tell us? I'm sure you got thousands of them.
Oh gosh.
Anything that sticks out in your head there over the years that you were involved with, when you're out in LA or even in Nashville the last few years. Sometimes strange things happen, or funny things happen, or fortuitous things happen while you're recording.
Offhand, I can't come up with one. I did lots of talking earlier, but
okay, are there some that you can't tell us?
No. Well, there's a lot of that. But
being out on the road, I'm sure, back in the 70s.
Touring with Willie was exhilarating, and the time that I spent with Glen Campbel and his entourage was definitely an experience, you know, that everybody would love.
So I guess Glen Campbell could pick a guitar, couldn't he?
Oh, my goodness, yes.
Did you learn any good stuff from Glen picking, or just watch it?
No.
No. So, Glen, what are you doing nowadays? I know you got a really nice place up in Reynosa, and you spend a lot of time up in the mountains.
Not as much as
You'd like to?
Like to.
Yeah.
No, I DJ and do the sound at Motel Stevens.
Right. Yeah. What night do you do those?
Well, I'm there all the time.
Are you?
Got a nice video system in there, video switcher for sporting events, and I'm just DJing. No one really knows what I really love to do, but the sound engineering that I learned, you know, in my career was one of the reasons why, you know, they wanted me over there, because they've got such a great sound system. And doing karaoke on Tuesday, we have some great talent here in the Carlsbad area that come out every Tuesday night. And
oh wow, I might have to come out some Tuesday night.
Come on out.
Yeah,
I'd love your own microphone.
Yeah. Yeah, you want to do one to take us out?
I'll do one.
Let's take us out, take us home, and do another one. What's this one?
This is one kind of a newer song. It's If I Can't Have All You, I Don't Want You at All. Can I do that one?
You betcha. It sounds like a good one.
Mind if I jump up here?
Hey, no, I don't. Let me get out of your way, and
Well, I'll just pull it right here.
I'll sing. Yeah, there you go. I just want to make sure that you're in frame there. There you go. You're good. You're good. I feel honored here.
You and me, we had a good thing going. Now it looks like it's come to an end. Now can't you see this feeling I'm showing? But you know, girl, God, it's only me. I can't live on the love you're sharing, but it seems, girl, that you want me to. And you feel that I've stopped caring, but we both know, God, it's only you. If I can't have all the love you promised me, I'll never be there to catch you when you fall. And if I can't have all of you, oh, then I don't want you at all. No, then I don't want you at all. 'Cause I don't want to spend a lifetime together. We built a dream ship, the Titanic went down under. And if that's the way love's supposed to be, then I'll just set us free. There's no need to spend a lifetime in a world of mystery. There's no guarantee we'll be here tomorrow, but my love for you, girl, will always be. But there's no time left for any more sorrow, so it might be the time for me to leave. when you call. And if I can't have all of you, then I don't want you at all. If I can't have all of you, then I don't want you at all. I don't want you at all. I don't want you at all.
Awesome, Glenn. Glen Castleberry, folks. Glenn, thank you so much for being with me
Thank you,
today.
Danny. Thank you, Danny.
Now,
for
hey, look
inviting
at when your album comes out. I think what we need to do is put a little concert together somewhere at the band shell or somewhere,
me. Sure.
and
I'll do that.
we'll get some other performers and debut your album.
I've been playing with a band up in Rio del Sol, which I'll tell you more next time about.
Okay.
There's some good musicians up in Rio del Sol.
Oh yeah.
We'll have a band for that whenever you want to do that.
All right, we're going to do it.
You got it.
Ladies and gentlemen, Glen Castleberry, you've been watching This, That, and the Other with your host, Danny C. Fletcher. And check with us next week.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
for
thank
having me.
you. Thanks, Glen.
Appreciate it.
See you later.
You got it.